Abduction of a Psychopath by Paige Turner.
Test subject identification. We have observed TS-18A for 14 planetary rotations, and the following data has been confirmed. Name: Peter Jacob Taylor. Age: 36 solar cycles. Height: 6 foot 1 inch. Weight: 177 pounds. Hair: brown. Eye color: brown. Profession: stockbroker. Spouse: Erin Marie Williams Taylor. TS-18B. Female, 32. Prodigies: Peter Jacob Taylor Jr. TS-18C. Male, 11. Patricia Abigail Taylor. TS-18D. Female, 7. Zachary Evan Taylor. TS-18E. Male, 4. Abduction report.
Earth calendar. Monday, June 19, 2023. 7:28 a.m. DST. Primary subject has departed, and extraction point A is prepped for interception. 7:38 a.m. CST. A collision near the target zone has forced 18A onto an alternative route, now proceeding to extraction point B. 7:47 a.m. CST. Extraction point B failed to meet minimum interception criteria, now proceeding to extraction point C. 8:54 a.m. CST. 18A has been successfully intercepted and sedated, now beginning quarantine protocols. 7:16 p.m. CST. All secondary subjects are now aware of the primary's disappearance and have been tagged for remote study. So far, vital signs are within normal ranges. It is not uncommon for familial units to remain in a state of denial for several days, or, in extreme cases, weeks.
Quarantine period.
Day 7. Subject 18A shows no signs of declining health and has been removed from sedation. In 12 hours, all residual effects will be gone and preliminary testing may begin. I have also received an unusual report regarding the secondary subjects, which I have entered below. Subjects' reactions are wholly unique when compared to previous Type 1 familial units. All parties have transitioned from complete denial to a state of almost euphoric relief. There are absolutely no signs of grief or distress. We are awaiting further test results to determine if the defect is unique to this case or if we have stumbled upon a new subcategory of Type 1s. I have personally confirmed the unit's Type 1 classification, and they have proven to be prime examples. The family's electronic devices show no signs of extramarital activities, financial struggles, or medical defects. Since direct communication with secondaries is forbidden, and 18A has not yet completed the quarantine period, it seems we must await additional results to learn more. Day 10. For the first time in my career, I have broken protocol by speaking with a subject still in quarantine. But now that we have become so well acquainted, it feels disrespectful to refer to him as I would any other test subject. After coming this far, I hardly think it will cause any harm to make one more exception. As I was saying, Mr. Taylor has proven himself to be among humanity's finest. Upon learning of their unexpected participation in our research, previous subjects have reacted with decisively negative emotions such as denial, outrage, and/or defeat. But Mr. Taylor's was one of somber contemplation. He did not engage in foolish threats or frivolous bargains. He simply understood the situation and made the logical decision to proceed accordingly. After a most civilized discussion, we reached what I believed to be the most likely explanation for the familial unit's unique response to Mr. Taylor's disappearance. It seems his spouse suffers from extreme bouts of psychosis, a mental defect causing periods of total loss from reality, which include complex visual and auditory hallucinations. Though pharmaceuticals greatly reduce the frequency and durations of episodes, severe cases of distress are likely to induce an attack. We believe Mr. Taylor's sudden absence has done just that. We will, of course, confirm this information and continue to expand our knowledge of psychosis, but I have no doubt Mr. Taylor is every bit the expert he shows himself to be. He understands that false statements would directly violate the pursuit of knowledge decree. The few are obligated by high order to oblige the advancement of the many. Still, it pains me that such a fine specimen will ultimately be destroyed. The least I can do is offer Mr. Taylor every courtesy in the meantime. In exchange for his insight, I have agreed to end the quarantine period a few days early. The concept of extraterrestrials has been one of fascination to him since early childhood, and I see no harm in allowing him a tour of our facilities before we begin endurance testing. It is my greatest hope that
Error code 402282449. Registers, full stop. Error code 40285-937. Secondary power systems offline. Error code 40229-195. Transporters offline. Error code 40257-389. Shields offline. Error code 40274-872. Warp core down. Error code 40266-916. Weapons offline. Error code 40231-648. Life pods released. Ship's log.
Entry 194. I suppose this will be my final entry. Oh, what a fool I have been. Even our life pod's release mechanism was corrupted. Every shuttle is gone now, left to drift aimlessly. Thankfully, we have enough emergency reserve power to transmit this final report. The many must learn from the mistakes of the few, or our deaths will be void of meaning, and our names will not be recorded in the great database. Every word that Subject 18A spoke was carefully crafted with deceit designed to undermine the many. The information about his wife, his childhood dream of meeting extraterrestrials, lies. I sealed our fates with my poor decision in allowing him to explore our vessel. He brutally murdered his tour guides the moment they reached the engine room. They answered his every question along the way, and then he killed them without hesitation or remorse. Those on duty watched from their stations without comment. After all, they faced an adversary who was twice their size with triple the strength. Resistance would have yielded the same result. Perhaps if we had made our final stand sooner, but no, it was already too late by then. Regardless, 18A disposed of them as ruthlessly as his previous victims and proceeded to kill all who crossed his path when returning to the subject containment area. There he agreed to spare the Watchers' lives if they released the other subjects. Luckily, Subject 15 was deconstructed shortly before the chaos began, but Subjects 16 and 17 joined the attack. To make matters worse, they each left the containment area armed with an electronic disciplinary rod. We never stood a chance. They went room by room, killing and destroying all they encountered. While this occurred, myself and the bridge crew worked tirelessly to divert all remaining power to the emergency reserve tanks. With our ship dead in space and our shields down, it was only a matter of time before the first asteroid hit. In other words, there was absolutely no chance of a rescue ship reaching us. With the power and therefore life support cut off from the rest of the ship, it was only a question of what would kill us first, an asteroid, a human, or suffocation. Since the only goal is to transmit this final message, it was vital to stop the humans before they reach the command centers. To maximize our chances, I ordered the remaining enforcers to wait for the mob right outside the bridge bay doors along with all surviving staff. Thankfully, the medical facilities remained untouched, and we had enough euthanizing serum to provide each staff member with a syringe. This is how Subjects 16 and 17 were ultimately dispatched, but we simply didn't have the numbers left to secure victory. The battle was short and gruesome, but in the end, I watched on the monitor as 18A crushed the head of my second-in-command under his boot. Then it was just the two of us. He depleted his remaining strength trying to pry open the bridge doors, efforts which were thankfully in vain, before collapsing in an exhausted heap. Still, he continued to surprise me with another full shift in personality. We conversed very much like our original interview. Only the information he shared was vastly different. He referred to himself as a serial killer and considered murder to be his favorite sport. He often visited establishments known as nightclubs, where he lured females outside and transported them to secondary locations. Once their privacy could be assured, he tortured the victim to death, removed a lock of hair as a keepsake, and then buried the bodies deep in the woods. His wife and offspring meant nothing more to him than a cover. They were simply his way of blending in with societal norms. He had understood that his life was over from the moment he regained consciousness on our vessel, so he resolved to end our lives as well. In that regard, he proved quite successful. I am the last remaining survivor, and, whether it is by a lack of oxygen or another asteroid collision, I will soon join the rest of my crew in the cycle of rebirth. When his time finally came, I bore no shame in the enjoyment of 18A's demise. As he grew delirious from oxygen deprivation, I took a dark pleasure in explaining how I fought to thwart him every step of the way. I am responsible for the chaos he wreaked, and likewise, I am responsible for ending it. Alas, there are so many questions left unanswered, but I am honored to know my death will serve the many. Perhaps they will...
Error code 402859380. Primary power offline. Error code 402827763. Artificial gravity offline. Error code 402631197. Outer hull breach. Error code 4028441. Life support offline. Error code 402308115. Emergency power resist.
Salutations, Dark Passengers, and thank you for taking the time to listen to this piece by Paige Turner. I've been browsing Paige's stories for a while, as she has such interesting tales to tell, and I have been wanting to do some sort of space or cosmic horror again. This is a nice hybrid of that and the horrors the worst of humankind can bring to bear. I hope you enjoyed it. I want to thank Paige Turner for allowing me to use this story on my channel. Please go check out her links in the description. I'm ever grateful to Fesliyan Studios for the music that I used in this piece. Big thanks to those on freesound.org that contributed as well, and they are also listed in the description.
I look forward to spacing out again with you soon.